I do not like this fine large study. I like elegance. I like room to breathe in and even walk about when I want to breathe and walk about. I like a great library next to my study, but for the study itself, give me a small, snug place, almost entirely walled with books. There should be only one window in it, looking upon trees. Today I'm here to share some of my favorite books about books. Hello book friends, I'm Jen and welcome to my reading life. Show of hands, who here loves books about books? I really love books about books. Today I'm here to share 5 of my favorite nonfiction books about books. And then I also have 2 bonus books that I am currently reading that I'm also going to share with you. And the reason I was prompted to do this video was because I purchased Bookworm by Lucy Mangan, and I am very much looking forward to diving into this one as soon as I have finished another book that I am currently reading about books, and I will get to that later in the video. But this book got me thinking about all of the books that I love that have to do with books. And there are certainly quite a few fiction books about books that I also love, or books about reading, books that take place in bookstores or libraries, any of that. I am for sure going to be drawn to those books, and I will share my fiction favorite books about books in a later video, but today I'm going to share some nonfiction favorites. I've probably talked about most of these, I think, in prior videos, but I thought I would collect them all here in one video, so if you're looking specifically for recommendations for books about books, you've come to the right place. Starting off my nonfiction favorites with a book that is chock full of book recommendations. Truly, that's what this book is entirely about, and that book is Booklust by Nancy Pearl, and it is subtitled Recommended Reading for Every Mood, Moment, and Reason. If you don't know Nancy Pearl and you're not familiar with her, she was a Seattle librarian. I don't know that she's still a librarian. I think she might be retired now. She also, I believe, had a book review show on NPR radio, I believe, up in Seattle. Anyway, she is a very well-known librarian, and she has a few of these Booklust books. There's Booklust, there's more Booklust. I think there's also a Booklust for teens as well. And she has put together a great collection of books in here. I have owned this book for so long, and I have gone through it multiple times. I am forever making lists of the books that she's recommended in here. And I'm just going to read you a few of the categories that she has because they are really clever, and there is such a wide variety of books in here. So I'm just going to give you a few. The first category is called A, My Name is Alice. We have bicycling. Then there are fathers and daughters, mothers and sons, Passage to India, short stories, Western fiction, Zero, This Will Mean Nothing to You. And within each of these categories, she talks about books. The books themselves are bolded, and I've gone through at different phases of my life when I've just needed some book recommendations and then marked books in here that I'm interested in reading. I've also gone through and marked some of the books that I have read as well, but this is fantastic. If you want some really interesting book recommendations, this is a fantastic book to pick up, as is more Booklust. And I definitely recommend this, even just to read and listen to the way Nancy talks about books and describes the books. It makes you want to read everything, even if it's not something you'd normally be interested in. I highly recommend this one. And then next up is a very slim little book, and that is How Reading Changed My Life by Anna Quindlen. And I'm just going to read you a little blurb from the back. It says, "Reading has always been my home, my sustenance, my great invincible companion. Book love, Trollope called it. It will make your hours pleasant to you as long as you live." And I think that perfectly sums up what Anna Quindlen is talking about in this book. And really, it is all about her reading life. She mentions lots of book titles in this again. So if you are interested in recommendations, if you like books that shout out other books, then definitely give this one a try. This is one of those slim little reads you can read just in a couple of sittings, and I love this one, and I am going to come back to it, I think, very soon, because it's been a long time since I've read it, and it's lovely. And then next up is a book that I cannot go without mentioning. It is one of my very favorite books of all time and is beloved by many, many book lovers and readers alike. And that is 84 Chairing Crossroad by Helene Hanff. And this is a nonfiction. I know some people aren't sure going into this whether it is nonfiction or not, but this is Helene Hanff's letters to Marks and Company, the booksellers at 84 Chairing Crossroad in England when she lived in New York. And we follow the letters between Helene and the staff at the bookstore from 1949 through 1969. And this is just the best book for book lovers, for readers, for writers, for letter writers, for people who love epistolary novels, for people who love England and New York. And it's such a love letter to books and reading, and I can't sing its praises highly enough. If you love books, you absolutely need to give this a try. Again, it is very, very slim. It's a quick read, and I just love it. I have all the warm, fuzzy feelings for 84 Chairing Crossroad and Helene Hanff in general. You should also check out her other books as well. They are equally lovely. There's a sequel to 84 Chairing Crossroad where she finally gets to England, and it's just as delightful as this one, but this one will always be closest to my heart, and I cannot recommend it enough. Next up is one of my most recently read books about books, though it's been maybe a little over a year or so since I first read it, and that is Howard's End is on the Landing by Susan Hill. This is a year of reading from home, and when you read the blurb of this, it sort of makes it sound like this is Susan Hill reading her way through her bookshelves over the course of a year. And she is doing that, but it's much more of a meandering book, just talking about books and reading and her experiences, her life as a writer. And I really, really enjoyed this one. And it was just lovely. I will give the caveat that I don't think Susan Hill is going to be everybody's cup of tea. She's a little more acerbic, and she has a little bit of an edge to her writing, and she sometimes does do a lot of name dropping of other writers that she knows, more so in the sequel to this book than this one in particular, but I really, really enjoyed this. And if you can sort of look past a little bit of her personality, I think what she's saying about books is really, really lovely. And yeah, I very much enjoyed this, and it'll be a book that I definitely want to reread again in the future. And lastly is a book that completely charmed me when I read it a few years ago, and that is Dear Reader, The Comfort and Joy of Books by Kathy Runsenbrink. First off, how beautiful is this hardback edition of this book? I just love it so, so much. Anyway, Kathy Runsenbrink has always been a reader throughout her entire life, and then she has a tragedy happen in her family, and as these things are wont to do, it makes her kind of stop and take stock of her life and reevaluate things, and she does that to a degree through reading and books, and then it sort of changes the trajectory of her life, and she takes a job as a bookseller, and then she becomes a writer. And this is just such a lovely love letter to the comfort that we get from books. And definitely there are some hard things here that happen in this to Kathy and her family, but I think overall this is really a lovely book. Again, it is filled with lots of books, so get out your pen and paper because you're probably going to be adding books to your TBR when you read this. And I really like this because she talks about some books in here that I hadn't heard talked about other places, and I really appreciate when I can learn about new titles and new authors. And I definitely got that from this book. So it is really, really lovely, and it's so beautiful too. So how can you not love that? So those are 5 books about books that I highly, highly recommend. And I don't think you can go wrong with any of them, whichever one of them stands out to you and sounds like it might be something you would enjoy. I definitely recommend picking them up. I'm not sure if all of them are in print still. I'm not sure about Book Lust by Nancy Pearl. I will have to look into that. But I will have all the books linked in the description box below, so be sure to go down there and check that out. And then lastly, I just wanted to wrap up this video by sharing 2 books about books that I am currently reading. And one is the book that I read from at the very beginning of the video, and that is The Bedside Companion for Book Lovers. This is edited by Jane McMorland Hunter. It is an anthology of literary delights for every night of the year. And every page is just a day of the year. So like this is June 24th, and you just read the little excerpt on that day. And I am making my way through this. As you can see, I am currently up to date here in April, and it is just so lovely. I mean, so many excerpts from just classics, from newer books and authors, and just it really runs the gamut. And I love to be exposed to all different kinds of quotes about books and reading and authors. And yes, it's just a whole compendium of things about books, and what's not to love about that? And this is just such a delight to dip into every night before I go to bed. And yeah, I'm really enjoying my journey through this one this year. And then lastly is a book I picked up because I'm not sure what is going on with me right now, but I am having a really hard time settling into any single book. I find myself just bouncing between 4 or 5 different books that I'm in the middle of right now and not really feeling like I want to settle into any one of them and just, plow through it. And it isn't the books. I'm enjoying the books. It just feels like my mind is going in a million different directions right now, and a lot is going on, and we're nearing the end of my son's school year, and so things are just kind of picking up in terms of activities and things we have going on. So I think that's some of it. But then I remembered I had this book on my shelf, which the lovely Beth from Small Home Comforts recommended to me during our book chat. I will link that here and in the description box below, so be sure to check that out. But it just seemed like this would be the perfect book to read right now, and that is The Pleasures of Reading in an Age of Distraction. And this is by Alan Jacobs. And I am only a few pages in, but I can already tell this is the book I need to be reading right now. And I'm hoping it kind of gets me back into that just feeling of immersing myself in a book and not being distracted by the thoughts in my head. Distraction? Anyone? We're so easily distracted by things these days, and that is one of the things that I love about books, is that it is a time to slow down and sink into an activity and put away all those other distractions, not pick up your phone, not watch TV, not, look at the internet and do any of that, be on your computer. It's just to sit and read. And I think I need to be reminded of the joys of that, the pleasures of that. So very much looking forward to reading. Again, this is not a very long book, and I think I will get through it fairly quickly. Yes, so it's about 150 pages. But very much enjoying the first few pages of this, and I think it will be just what I need right now. So if it's what you need as well, I will again link this in the description box below for you. And that wraps up some of my favorite books about books. I would love to chat with you down in the comments. What are some of your favorite books about books? Is there anything that I didn't mention that you really love? I mean, there are so many books about books out there. And if you have any nonfiction favorites, I would definitely love to hear them. I'm always looking for good books about books. And I do have a few others on my bookshelf in addition to Bookworm, which I'm hoping to get to very soon. But let's chat all things books, books about books, or whatever it is you'd like to chat about. I always love finding you down in the comments. And if you don't have anything that you would like to add, but you would like to let me know that you are here, why don't you leave a book emoji since we are talking books about books. Any one of those little delightful book emojis will do. And comments really do help my channel, and I really appreciate you letting me know that you were here. I do love seeing that and that you made it this far in the video. And thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your day to spend it with me here. If you did enjoy this video, if you could hit that like button and subscribe if you aren't already subscribed, I would love to have you join my bookish community. And as always, I'll be back with another video very soon. Bye!